Hello, I'm Siamecat. I'm at this inn so I can buy some rare, underrated 3DS games from a store only around here. I've almost completed my collection.
Is that an HP banana?
Well, a full day of searching has passed, and I haven't found the store. There is always tomorrow, until I get kicked out of the inn. Speaking of underrated 3DS games, my favorite is Miitopia.
That was recorded several months ago, and now there's a Switch version. If most of this script sounds like it was written long before the Switch version was announced, that's because it was. The Miis are an often overlooked part of Nintendo's history these days, seeing as they're not really relevant anymore. But in my opinion, they are the gold standard for player-created avatars. It's so fun to make Miis look like people, hamburgers, abominations, it's great! What the Miis are remembered for most is the Wii series. Being able to control yourself in a game was mind-blowing. The Miis would return on the 3DS for a unique pre-installed game called Street Pass Mii Plaza. The concept is to take your 3DS to Walmart and hope you pass by someone who also has a 3DS with them. 2020 is a bad time to be a Street Pass fan. Doing this lets you use their Mii in some Street Pass games, one of them being Find Me. No, not that Find Me. Find Me is an extremely simple RPG. Not much to say about that, other than it made me want the idea of having an adventure/RPG game starring Miis to be fully realized into something truly special. Then on July 28th, 2017, Miitopia released 2... Is there really a general consensus on this game? I don't think there is. Anyway, this was it. The Mii RPG I had been hoping for. The story is not the most complex of RPG stories, but it's still really good. The Dark Lord steals the faces of Miitopia's citizens, and puts them onto monsters. It's up to you and your friends, or celebrities, or memes to defeat the Dark Lord. There's obviously more to it than that. Not to get into spoilers quite yet, but I wasn't expecting just how much you could do with a story themed around faces. Miitopia supports a feature called Spot Pass, which in this game allows random Miis created by anyone to be given roles in the story. The selling point of Miitopia is of course casting Miis into the most ridiculous roles you can think of, and Spot Pass definitely delivers. Hey, did you know this game is on Switch now? Spot Pass is not in the Switch version, so you'll have to find Miis yourself, which is also harder than in the original because you can't search for Miis by name. Instead, you have to type in a passcode called an access key. What is it with Nintendo and passcodes? We also have level IDs for Mario Maker. What's next? Friend codes? Wait.
On Nintendo's list of favorite things, passcodes are right up there with casual gamers and the word new.
You of course have generic RPG classes to choose from, like Warrior, Mage, Cleric, but there are also some unconventional ones, like Chef and Popstar. Every class is unique and helpful in their own way. Warriors have the highest base HP stat in the game, so they're useful for consistent damage. Mages deal insane damage, Clerics are healers, Thieves keep the party safe, Popstars have a wacky bag of tricks with all sorts of wacky things, and Chefs are less effective healers than Clerics, but do more damage than them to make up for that. There are even more classes to be unlocked later, so I'll go over those now. Cats have absurdly high damage capability, Scientist does another wacky bag of tricks job, the Tank is the funniest class in the game because they can shoot friends out of their cannon, Flowers are the most useless class in the game because all they do is make people angry, which is not a useful status effect. Imps are good for absolutely nothing, Princesses are kinda just another attacker, and the Vampire and Elf jobs are unlockable, so they're good at everything. Another thing you can customize is the personality of everyone on your team. There are 7 to choose from: kind, energetic, laid-back, cool, stubborn, airheaded, and cautious. Every personality is helpful sometimes, like dodging enemy attacks or attacking again, but they're also unhelpful at times, like attacking the wrong enemy or hiding behind someone. And with that we can move on to the gameplay, which I think has enough good elements for me to enjoy it, but it's certainly not for everyone. The gameplay of Miitopia is separated into 3 parts: traveling, battling, and keeping an eye on your Miis at the end. Traveling is as simple as selecting a course and watching the team walk, have hilarious conversations, and open treasure chests. You barely have to press any buttons. At the inn, you can buy clothes and weapons to increase stats, eat food to increase stats, spend tickets to win clothes, weapons, and food, and never play rock, paper, scissors in any game. They're always designed to make you waste money. Hey, did you know this game is on Switch now? You can now send Miis on outings. There are a huge amount of different outing scenes, so many that you might not even see them all in one playthrough. As your team gets to know each other, they will start to help each other out in battle. They can help with attacks, take damage in place of a friend, etc. So far I wouldn't blame you if you don't think the gameplay is that interesting. The battle system doesn't even get challenging until the post-game. Your Miis can also get angry at each other for reasons that don't really make sense. Like being shot out of a cannon. Halfway through the game, your Miis can randomly fall ill, making them unable to leave the inn. This is the most unnecessary part of Miitopia. Even I can't defend this. Miitopia could be described as baby's first RPG, but it's certainly more traditional than, for example, the Mario RPGs. In battle, you can only control what you do. The rest of the team will move automatically. This is the most common criticism I've seen. Most of the time, the AI knows what to do in every situation, so I don't mind that you can only control yourself. What really makes this battle system unique are the sprinkles and safe spot. At first, the sprinkles seem like easy mode. In fact, for a greater challenge, I wouldn't recommend using them that much until the post-game. Sprinkles let you restore HP and MP, revive someone, or apply helpful status effects anytime you want. Like I said, seems overpowered, right? Well, once you reach the post-game, they will become integral to your strategy. It becomes all about using them wisely. Alternatively, you can make one Mii spend a turn recovering stats and removing harmful status effects in the safe spot. The safe spot has unlimited uses, but you have to spend a turn using it. And while sprinkles don't spend turns, you have a limited supply of them. So the strategy is all about using sprinkles and the safe spot effectively at the right times. Hey, did you know this game is on Switch now? The big new feature that Nintendo really wants us to know about is a horse. Every now and then you can do some pretty cool attacks with the horse, but that's about it. It doesn't add much to the gameplay. When you finally defeat the Dark Lord, he reverts back to the person he originally was before an entity known as the Dark Curse possessed him, turning him into the Dark Lord. Then, in a turn of events, the Dark Lord possesses the Great Sage, turning into the Darker Lord. It would have been such a missed opportunity to not include such an incredible plot twist. On the surface, the Dark Curse isn't a very interesting villain, but everything starts to make sense in the endgame. A long time ago, there was a person who got rid of his face because he thought it was boring and generic.
I'm surprised we haven't had a Toad villain with this backstory yet.
Without a face, he eventually turned into the Dark Curse. He can't steal faces without a body to host, and someone must have known that, because the Dark Curse was sealed away for presumably centuries. Then one day, an HP banana factory worker who didn't know if he would be happy with that job was tempted by a nearby box. He opened it, only for the Dark Curse to turn him into the Dark Lord. After you save the Great Sage, you were given the choice of destroying the curse once and for all, or giving it a second chance, by giving it a face. Miitopia isn't the deepest story ever told, but it's still something I wasn't expecting. Miitopia's post-game is very open-ended. You can complete an endless, yeah you heard me, endless amount of side quests, and you can go to 2 new areas, GLaDOS Isle and New Lumos. Completing GLaDOS Isle rewards you with the Elf class. Easier said than done. There's a difficulty spike at the end for no reason. New Lumos has 8 sections with a boss at the end of each, all leading up to one final challenge, the Tower of Dread. This is a boss rush of all the previous New Lumos bosses. The Tower of Dread is such a good final optional challenge. My strategy is to save all my sprinkles for the end, and even then, it's still tough. Hey, did you know this game? After you complete the Tower of Dread, you'll unlock the Tower of Despair. If you thought the Tower of Dread was hard, you're probably not ready for the Tower of Despair. I'm just glad there's new content like this at all in the Switch version. Miitopia has by far the most complex Mii Maker yet. Just so you know how versatile the new Mii Maker is, you can make, Hotel Mario. You weren't supposed to make perfection better. Did I mention how good the music is? Miitopia has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. Like I said before, Miitopia is not for everyone. The endlessly hilarious writing, surprisingly engaging story, and ridiculous moments are more than enough for me to want to see the game through to the end. If you really don't like repetitive gameplay, you probably won't like that many RPGs in general, let alone Miitopia. But if you think you'd enjoy an Uno reverse card using an Uno reverse card on Prince Bowser, or being greeted by Lonk from Pennsylvania, then this game is for you. As for my thoughts on the Switch version, it's definitely the definitive version of the game, but it's still a little disappointing. You know your Miitopia remake is unfocused when the new feature you're advertising is a mammal. Outings are fine, and the new Mii Maker and the Tower of Despair are great, but what they really should have added is new jobs. Knowing Nintendo, we might even get new jobs as DLC in a few months.
Well, that was a waste of time. I didn't find the store I was looking for, and it turns out the games I was looking for can be found at Best Buy.
Why didn't you tell me?